welcome back to the channel. So we've got our first 2025 G45 chassis, X3 xDrive 30. It's going to take me some time to get used to not adding the I at the end of that. So this isn't the Heya car. This car actually beat the Heya base model X3 to dealer inventory here. And I think our Heya model's still in South Carolina. So we'll go over this one. This one is, I think, minimally equipped in terms of the number of options, but it does have a lot of sort of like desirable things on it. But we can begin with the design up front. We'll start with the headlights. So single headlight now, just in here. There's no cornering light here because you do have to go with the M Sport and M Sport Pro package to get the cornering light. Daytime running lights, sort of reminiscent of what's on the G01 chassis, except the sort of underlines for those things were underneath each of the two headlights. Now it's just one. The grille, controversial, I'd say. So an interesting design on the slats here. And you can see it's really not much of an opening. There's some plastic shielding here on either side. You got the camera right there, which is offset to the passenger side. On this side, driver's side, you have the sensors, at least that's what I think they are. Bumper, front end, I think very square looking and upright. And making our way to the side. See Arctic Race Blue out of direct sunlight. Again, that car, so the color debuted on the G22 4 Series, and it's making its way across the lineup, so I think you can probably say it's replaced Phytonic Blue, at least in many of the cases. So, on the side, we've got style 903. They are technically called refined silver, but silver wheels are making a comeback, and I think it looks pretty good against Arctic Race Blue for some nice contrast, and it does sort of go with the brushed aluminum trim around the windows there. Side profile, I think it looks pretty good. Monolithic in design. So these rocker panels have some design effect that mimics what is on the grille. Make our way to the back where we got the tail lights. I think sort of mimic what's also on the X5, but still has that Halo Energy Sword effect on the LCI version of the G01. I think it looks pretty nice. And then I think a big change here. So we have xDrive badging. So I'll note for the US market, at least, it's xDrive only. So you used to have an SDrive version, which is rear wheel drive on the previous generation. And the big thing here, X3 and 30, all on one side. A little on the strange side from basically what you're used to for how BMW's put on the badging in the rear. Now, as we mentioned in the M50 video, the exhaust tips are still there. They're just hidden underneath the bumper. Now, would you call that a cost savings thing? I'm not entirely sure that's the case. This has appeared on vehicles in the past. From memory, the E65 series, like the base model ones, had these non-visible exhaust tips. They are there, but pointed down. All right, make our way to the side here. You see more of Arctic Race Blue in direct sunlight. That 3/4 rear view. So for the 30, comparing it to the 30i of the G01 chassis, it's 1 inch shorter in terms of height. So that's 1 inch shorter. It is 1 inch longer, and I think 2 inches wider. And it's the same wheelbase. So dimensions have grown very slightly for the most part, and interior room is up a little bit. I know the trunk space is now 5 cubic feet bigger in this chassis. Let's make our way inside, go over pricing and options and some of the complaints about the cost cutting on this thing. I'm not sure. It goes both ways. So opening up, this one's got the Espresso Vaganza interior. In terms of the door card, you got Espresso Vaganza over here. It says hard plastic on the upper portion here. Ambient lighting around here. And your door handle, a little on the weird side. It is plastic, but it's pretty, it feels like the previous version of the X3. It's just not galvanic in its. It's not finished in galvanic steel, if you will. And then here's the other weird thing. So you got the vent controls over here. It's all haptic. Door locks, kind of a weird thing if you're used to the old X3. And your memory positions here, all haptic. So not exactly buttons. Now down here on the door card, you also have the window controls, the mirror, and the trunk. So all similar design. And then hard plastic here, hard plastic on the bottom. This is the same as what's on the outgoing X3. Then here's the seat itself. Now this is an improvement over Sensatec, and as a bonus, you can actually get ventilated seats on the Vaganza, where you could not do that on the previous generation X3. Nice quilting as well, some perforations, and you have adjustments here for side bolsters. So I think on the base models, on the X3s, you had to jump up the leather, if I recall correctly, to get side bolster adjustment. Then you got lumbar support and a manually powered crumb catcher, because this is the X3, it's not an X5. Door sill, yeah, this is happening more across the new models. No longer a badging thing going on here, so like there's no M badge or an X3 badge or whatever you can think of, or even BMW. So yeah, cheaping out on that portion of it, but you do get a lot more standard on the car. All right, so in front of me, this is your new steering wheel. It comes from the iX, so a 2-spoke steering wheel. I think looks pretty nice. Other complaint I saw was this is now plastic, and the rest here is leather. Is that a big deal? I'm not so sure. And then controls for the lights, no longer buttons or a switch down here. They're on the turn stock, so that's a little bit of a big change. Controls over here for assisted driving and cruise control. Shift paddles, they are now black. Before they used to be sort of that cheap plasticky look with chrome, silver, ceramic, whatever you can think about. For me, iDrive 9 live cockpit, heads-up display. The rest of the curved display here, again, iDrive 9, looks very similar to iDrive 8.5, but inside the app, it's a little bit confusing. You have to get some time to get used to it. Dashboard feels like rubberized plastic in this case here, not Sensatec, not leather. Then we've got more ambient lighting with an interaction bar here. This is the same on all the X3s. It's not part of the trim. Down here, more ambient lighting around this area here. So you have wireless charging on this side only, USB-C charging ports. There's 2 of them here. Just a holder on this side. Then you got X3 badging here in the middle, plus your cup holders. All right, then moving to the center console. So you got your drive selector nub, iDrive controller, and wheel for the volume. The trim here is dark graphite trim. It only appears here on the center console area. It's not up here on the dashboard. That's the only place you're going to see your choice of interior trim. And other thing I should point out, gone is the owner's manual. There's just a little safety pamphlet in here. Is that a cost-cutting thing? It's going to be new for BMW. It's a lot of waste of paper, because you do have the owner's manual on the iDrive itself. There's also electronic versions of it. Is it a cost savings? Yeah, but I think a good one, because it's all available electronically. Don't need to use the actual manual. All right, starting price, the 2025 X3 xDrive 30. Even this also says 30i. It's a misprint. All right, so it is $49,500. Arctic Race Blue is $650. The Vaganza is included. Now you can step up to merino leather on the base X3. Previously it was the Vernasca leather. The Driving Assistance Pro is $1,700. Now that's the same sort of settings that you get in the previous version of Driving Assistance Pro on the X3. You do not get highway assistant. There is some hands-free driving, but it's only up to, I think, 40 miles per hour. Very similar to the extended traffic jam assistant. Parking assistance package for $200. Premium package for $3,400. That includes Active Driving Assistance Pro, heated steering wheel, the camera, curved display with HUD, panoramic moonroof, parking assistance professional, remote engine start, and travel and comfort system. All these other things are standard on the vehicle, including wireless device charging and eSIM 5G, which were not on the previous G01 chassis. At least the wireless charging was an option. Black alder floor mats for $235. First aid kit. There wasn't a lot of accessories available at the time of order on this one. All told, MSRP, this particular example, $56,910. So moderately equipped. Of course, you can go a little bit more nuts with the other things you can add. You're going leather, climate control zone in the rear. It's only $200. That's available. Heated rear seats. I think that's about it. There's probably a few more I'm just forgetting off the top of my head. But we're going to go ahead and hop in the back seat real quick. All right, so opening up door card. So hard plastic here. There's no ambient lighting. Is that a cost savings thing? I'd say probably yes. Hard plastic in the upper portion of the door card. Vaganza down here. More hard plastic here, and of course down here. Very similar to what's on the outgoing G01 chassis. There's that espresso brown, and then here's a look at the panoramic moonroof, if you will. Does not open. Now, is this a cost savings thing? You get a lot more glass. I'm sure this glass is not cheap to put on here. It's just a different look. All right, let's hop in. All right, and here's a view of the cockpit from the back seat. Then vents down here. You can do an optional rear climate control zone, and then you got USB-C charging ports down here. And then the travel and comfort system doesn't have anything like in the X5 where you'd have another USB-C charging port. Back of the seat, hard plastic, and then you got a cargo net here. Knee room and legroom, pretty good. And then headroom, really, really good as well. And hard plastic on the back of the head restraint, but Vaganza elsewhere. All right, let's go ahead and look at the cargo area. All right, so move to the back here, and then kick to open. That pops up, there's that rear view camera. So cargo area, pretty decent size. Again, it's about 5 cubic feet larger than the G01 chassis. You got your cargo cover. You can easily get that thing out by popping either side here. And push it back in. Nice and easy. And then you can fold down those rear seats for even more room. Here's that first aid kit. Then, standard spare tire on the 30i. So, in order to stow that cargo cover, you do have to remove that spare tire. There is a place to store the cargo cover if that spare tire wasn't there. So perhaps a miss on BMW. Kick to close. Let's make our way to the front. Yeah, in terms of standard features over the outgoing model, it's got comfort access. That wasn't an option in the G01, if you can believe that. But deletion on the rear doors. I'll have to see if I can dig and figure out why that happened, if I can get an answer on that one. It's across all the BMW lineup now, at least with the new models that are being released. You get wireless charging included, eSIM 5G, and some other available options on the 30i, including dynamic damper control that weren't available before. There's some more, but I'll try and link those, post those in the description down below. But let's pop the hood, where there's another improvement. So under the hood here is the B48 inline 4 2-liter turbo engine. It's a mild hybrid setup. There is no start-stop button, auto start-stop button, I should say, in the car. I imagine there'll be a software update like you can see for iDrive 8.5, but currently right now, probably have to dive deeper into the iDrive menu to get to that. But this is an improvement over the G01, so it's 255 horsepower, up a meager 7 horsepower. But you get 295 torques, so I think it's like 37 or so, or 47 more torques, so matching what's on the other 30s, almost said 30i's, so like 330i, 230i. So an improvement in horsepower and torque. But that's it for a quick look at our first X330 to arrive. We'll see you at the next video.